What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What I'll be doing today is 2 racks of baby back ribs, 1 rack of St. Louis cut ribs. We're going to be doing this on my pit barrel cooker. I just bought it. I'm excited to use it. This is going to be my first run. As far as the seasoning that's going to go on it, you know what? They provided a couple complimentary seasonings, so I'm just going to use the all-purpose rub that was included with the purchase on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to open this up. And I'm going to throw it in my container. That's going to be our rub. As far as a binder, you know, these are going to have a chance to sit for a while, so I'm not going to be using a binder. So I'm going to go ahead and get this pack open, get it in my shaker, and get seasoning. Okay, so we only have 2 racks of ribs here. I do have another one behind me. I did taste the rub, and the rub tastes pretty good for ribs. It's a little, I'd like it a little bit sweeter. So what I am going to do later on in this cook is we are going to wrap this with some honey or something just to kind of sweeten it up. But we're just going to kind of go with a, you know, pretty light coating on it. So that's what we're going to look like on the back. I'm going to let this seep in for a while. Like I said, I'm not using a binder because this is going to have about an hour to an hour and a half to kind of sink in. So there's what we're going to be looking like. And then on our meat side, you know, it's going to be the same thing. Alright, so that's kind of what we're going to be looking like on it. I'll tighten this up a little bit and get it a little bit more evenly distributed. I'm going to go work on this other rack. Let these sit for about 25-30 minutes before I flip it over and do the opposite sides of both of them. I've kind of had a chance to sit for about 30 minutes. I did flip it over and season the other side. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to come below the second bone. And we're going to put our hook in. And I'm just going to show these 2. Let's see which side is going to be best. I'm just going to do these 2. And let's go outside and get this chimney starter going. Pit barrel cooker, what you're supposed to do is fill up this entire charcoal basket. Then you're going to want to take about 1/4 of them out of the charcoal basket, which is going to be about 40 briquettes. And they do suggest Kingsford Blue regular charcoal. Alright, so that's about 1/4 right there. What I'm going to do now is pull this up. We're going to set it in the bottom of the pit barrel cooker. And now I'm going to use this grate to set the chimney starter on, and we're going to go ahead and get it lit. I already have my newspaper in the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and light it. And we're supposed to let this go no longer than 20 minutes for this elevation. So once we hit 20 minutes on this, we're going to go ahead and dump that in and let the cook begin. Okay, so what we've done is we went ahead and took our charcoal briquettes out of the chimney starter. They went about 20 minutes, and now it says to go ahead and start cooking immediately. So what we're going to do is just going to go ahead and throw in our posts. And then just go ahead and hang these ribs. And I'm just going to hang them all on the same side. Alright. We'll check back in a couple hours and see how things are going. And we are about 2 hours into this cook, and what I did do is I did temperature probe this just because I was curious kind of what temperature we were cooking at. And it looks like we're around 296, which I think is perfect. I like cooking my ribs kind of higher, you know, closer to that 300 area. And sometimes on the Weber Smoky Mountain, it's a little hard to get that in this elevation. So anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and pull just one of these racks of ribs out here so you can kind of take a look at what they're looking like. And I'm using this little handle that comes with this unit. And here's kind of what we're looking like right here. So looks like we're getting a little bit of pullback from these bones. Looks like we got a good cook on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, you know, let me check it. Let me check these St. Louis cut ribs. Yeah, those look good too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let these go for about another hour. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cook these like I normally would. I'm going to take these off of the smoker, put the grill grate back in, foil them up. I'm going to put some butter, honey, some apple juice in there, foil them up, let them go another hour, and then it should be a done deal. It's been almost exactly 3 hours. We checked on them about an hour ago. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull them out regardless. And I'll show you what this next rack looks like. Looks like we got some good color on them. You know, that's one of the spare ribs. And our last one is this last rack of baby back ribs. That's what those look like. We're going to go inside. I already got my foil laid out. We're going to go ahead and get these things ready to go back on the cooker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add our grill grate back to it. So we're going to pull these bars out, add our grate back in, and we're going to finish our ribs on this grate when we get back. Ribs off of the cooker. What I'm going to do, now I did taste them, and like I thought earlier, that rub that came with the pit barrel cooker is a little savory and not really sweet at all. So we're going to pump this up a bit. So we're going to lay down a bed of brown sugar, and I'm going to do this the exact same way for all 3 racks of ribs. So we got the bed of brown sugar down. I'm going to come back over that with some squeezed butter, and you could use regular pats of butter as well, or you could just melt some butter. And now I'm going to come over it with some honey. If you'd like, maple syrup does pretty well also. And I'm going to go a little heavy on this because I'm going to want this to create a real nice barbecue sauce when we're done. And I'll kind of show you about that here in a little bit. So we got that. We're going to get our ribs meat side down on that. So here's our ribs, nice color. We're going to go meat side down. And then, actually, you know what? I forgot. A little apple juice, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and squirt some apple juice down there. Not a lot, just enough to get a little moisture in there. Squirt a little on this side as well. And on this side, all that we're going to do is a little barbecue sauce. This was a barbecue sauce I picked up from an Amish store when I was out in Iowa. It's chipotle, spicy. I did taste it. It tastes pretty good. We're just going to kind of hit just the backside with it. And I'll get back to why I'm just doing the backside a little bit later. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap these up. And we're going to get them back out on the cooker. You're back out at this cooker after getting everything foiled up. Let's just go ahead and throw them on here. And it doesn't matter if they're stacked on top of each other or whatever. We're just going to get them in. And I'm going to let those go for probably, at this temperature, probably just 30-40 minutes at the most. I am going to put these bars back in just because it does block some of that airflow, and I don't want the temperature to climb up over 300, so we're just going to throw those in just to shut off some of that airflow. Now I could close that bottom damper at the bottom if I wanted to as well, but we're just gonna put the lid on. See you back in 40. These ribs cool off about 10 minutes, and what I like to do now is I like to go ahead and leave them in the foil, but I like to drain off the liquid that's in the ribs, and that's going to kind of make, we're going to mix that with some barbecue sauce later, and that's going to make our glaze. So let's go ahead and drain these off. And actually, that's probably enough right there. So what I'm going to do is, we have that. Going to mix in about a quarter of our barbecue sauce. Let's go ahead and get everything out of there. And then we're going to stir it in. And what this does is it gives you a nice glaze without it looking like, you know, sometimes if you put like real thick barbecue sauce on ribs, it looks like you're, like if you're painting a house and it's like kind of streaky. This gives you a real nice sheen to it. That these are some good looking ribs right here. Now what I've done, I told you I poured the juice out of the ribs, added some barbecue sauce. Now we're going to glaze them. And like I said, look at how that glaze comes on there. No thick streaks, no nothing like that. What we're going to do is, I'm just going to let these sit for a while. I'm going to throw them back on the smoker probably for about 5 minutes, not a long time, just to kind of let that set. No need to let it go for an hour or anything like that. And this is going to be a done deal, but these have some absolute excellent color to them, and I couldn't be more happy with these. What I'm going to do, and I do have some more ribs I need to do, I have an empty barbecue bottle, or a barbecue sauce bottle. I'm going to pour this sauce in this bottle because this is absolutely incredible. This sauce here is probably better than any sauce that you could buy from a store because it does have all that flavor from the cooking meat and everything, plus the addition of the sauce. So anyway, let's go ahead and get our ribs back out on the smoker, 10-15 minutes max, just to get them kind of set up. And then it's going to be time to taste these bad boys. I have to say that this pit barrel cooker did an excellent job on both these spare ribs and the baby back ribs. And I'm not sure if you can see it, the light has kind of gone down. But we have got some, you know, not that it really matters. It's just a, you know, smoke ring. Doesn't add any flavor, but does look nice. We do have a good smoke ring on this. So let's go ahead and taste this baby back rib right now. I have to say I like that. Now, I like the way that both those things came out. Matter of fact, the rub, personally, that came with the pit barrel cooker, it didn't say it was a rib rub or anything like that. It was all purpose. That rub was definitely a little too savory by itself on some ribs, but adding that brown sugar, that whole thing, glazing them up, they were perfect. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a review on this. I'm going to be doing a competition or a comparison between this and the pit barrel or the Weber Smoky Mountain, so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, I thought these ribs were great, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.